Three friends went on a weekend getaway at a fancy hotel. During dinner, Jack ordered a seafood platter. Paul had a shrimp salad, and Sam went for a hamburger. By the end of the next day, one of them got food poisoning. Who was it? Seafood usually causes trouble just a few hours after eating it, not a whole day later. Since the person only felt bad by the end of the next day, it must have been Sam. It was a regular day at the museum, until, suddenly, the lights turned off and the alarm started blaring. Oh no! A painting's gone missing! Take a good look at these three suspects. Can you tell who took it? Wait a second, this lady's scarf looks way too big. She's hiding the painting underneath it. A witch finds an old book sealed by magic. To open it, she must say the total number of triangles on the cover. Can you count them all? There are 8 triangles. Well done. Carla found a backpack on the train. Inside, there was a screwdriver, a sandwich, and a newspaper from last week. She handed it to security, and they suspect it might belong to one of these people. A man who just got off at this station, a worker who repaired the train yesterday, or a tourist who visited the city last week. So, whose backpack is it? Look at the sandwich. There's steam coming out of it. That means it's still hot. So the backpack must belong to the man who just got off the train. A hacker was trying to crack a password, but all he found was this strange clue. He tried adding, subtracting, and even multiplying the numbers, but nothing worked. Then he realized it wasn't about math at all. Can you figure it out? It's all about the number of circles. In 1985, there are 3 of them, see? So the answer is 3. Lisa was watching a TV show with her boyfriend when she suddenly had to rush to the bathroom. "Pause it and wait for me," she said. Her boyfriend agreed. But when Lisa came back, she was sure the TV was showing a different scene. Can you spot 5 differences? Yep, there they are. Olivia and Theo are co-workers traveling to a meeting in another city, and they booked flights on different airlines. Both planes were in the air when something went wrong. On Olivia's flight, her window suddenly cracked. On Theo's flight, the oxygen mask dropped from the ceiling. But only one of them is really in danger. Who is it? Olivia's fine. Airplane windows have multiple layers, and it was only the inner one that cracked. But Theo's in real trouble. His oxygen mask didn't work, which means he has no air supply. A teacher walks into class and shouts, "Surprise test!" 2 students immediately stand up, saying they can't take it because they need to go to the nurse's office. She asks why, and they both say they hurt their legs. But only one of them is telling the truth. Who is it? It's the boy. The girl's pretending. Look, she's standing on her supposedly injured leg. Henry just finished his workout. He headed to the locker room and panicked when he realized his phone was missing. The gym owner questioned 3 people who were nearby. A woman said she was taking a shower when it happened. A guy said he had just walked into the locker room. And a personal trainer said both his hands were busy lifting weights. So, who took the phone? It was the woman. If she was really in the shower after her workout, why is she still wearing gym clothes? She's not telling the truth. Jess just had a son. She held him for a moment and said, "He'll be called Lucas." A nurse came over and said she needed to take Lucas for some tests. When she came back, she handed him to Jess, but Jess froze. "That's not my son," she said. How is she so sure? Because if you remember, Lucas had a birthmark on his head. So yeah, they accidentally switched him. A food inspector walks into a restaurant and asks to see the menu. The chef gets nervous, but brings out 4 of their best dishes. The inspector takes one look and calls the authorities to shut the place down. He says there's something wrong with each plate. Can you find all the issues? Let's see, the first dish has a cockroach. The second one has mold. The third has a strand of hair. And the last one? Well, the problem isn't the food, it's the drink that comes with it. That looks really suspicious. Kate and Paul were playing badminton. They played 5 matches, and each of them won 3 times. How is that possible? Well, that's because they weren't playing against each other. They had different opponents. At a charity auction for billionaires, a necklace worth $1 billion suddenly disappeared. The detective had to find the thief without being seen, so he hid behind a curtain and could only see the backs of 3 women. One had blonde curls decorated with seashells. Another had bright rainbow hair with sparkling clips. The third had red hair braided with coral. So, which of the 3 women stole the necklace? It's the blonde one. Seashells are light, so why are her curls pulled down like that? She must have hidden the necklace inside her hair and attached it to the shells. Hey, don't be afraid. This vampire's actually pretty nice. He decided to stop drinking blood. Luckily, he found the perfect substitute, tomato juice. So he went on vacation and packed 48 little juice boxes. He drinks one every 2 hours. So how long until he runs out of tomato juice? Well, let's do the math. 48 boxes times 2 hours equals 96 hours. That's 4 full days of tomato juice. A young woman was kidnapped by a crazy math teacher. He locked her in a tank that started filling with water and said, "The only way to stop it is to answer this question. Can you write the number 89 using only the number 8? Can you help her before it's too late?" And the answer is 88 plus 8 divided by 8. That equals 89. Did you get it right? 3 hikers see a huge warning sign, high avalanche risk. But they didn't turn back. Minutes later, they hear a deep rumble. The avalanche is coming. Each of them reacts in a completely different way. Samuel crouches down and holds his backpack over his head. Jack stays on the same path but speeds up. Dylan slows down a bit and starts moving diagonally. So, who's got the best chance of survival? It's Dylan. Moving diagonally helps you get out of the avalanche's direct path. Charlotte meets her cousin at the park. It's a beautiful sunny day, not a single cloud in the sky. But something feels off. Her cousin is carrying an umbrella that's completely soaking wet, while his clothes are totally dry. Weird, right? Well, take a good look around the park. Can you guess what happened? See that little sprinkler over there? It's off now, but just a few moments ago, it was spraying water everywhere. He opened his umbrella to protect himself from getting drenched. At a wedding, all the bridesmaids were told to wear colors that are also fruit names. On the big day, they lined up next to each other, and the bride was furious. But why? Who broke the rule? Let's see. She's wearing orange, she's in a pink dress, and the third one picked olive. Those are all fruits. But the last one, she's in mint, so she's the one who messed up. At a charity event, a millionaire showed up with his new companion. His friends wanted to test how smart she was. So one of them said, "A man, a plan, a canal, Panama." Right away, she knew exactly what it was. Can you tell? Pangram, palindrome, acronym, lipogram. And the right answer is B, palindrome. That's when a word or phrase reads the same backward and forward. So how many challenges did you get right? Tell us in the comments.
Today, you're going to try on both a detective and a rescuer hat to crack several crimes and save a few people. Look at these people very attentively. Which of them is in greater danger? It's the man crossing the road at the red light. As for the woman, the fork won't fit in the outlet, so she's safe. How about these guys? Who would you hurry to save? The man on the right urgently needs help. His rope is torn. Now look at these people. One of them needs rescue as soon as possible. Which one? You should rush to save the man on the right. Extreme heat can take one's life faster than extreme cold. Who's about to fall, the man or the girl? What's your bet? The man is going to fall soon, while the girl's rope is tightly wrapped around her waist. The man's rope is about to rip. These two guys are making a grave mistake, eating berries they don't recognize. But for one of them, it's bound to end badly. Which guy isn't going to survive? The guy on the left is going to have big problems. See that bird next to the bush? It's not moving and doesn't look alive. It means the berries on that bush are poisonous. The next one is kinda hypothetical. If you knew one of these people was a vampire, which one would be your first pick? I'd opt for the girl in the middle. She's hiding from the sun under a large dark umbrella. All because vampires are afraid of sunlight. Do you agree? Or do you have another idea? Share it in the comments. One guy decided to become a scuba diver, but during his first dive, he got dazed and disoriented. He couldn't figure out which way he should swim to get to the surface. Soon, he also noticed he was running out of air. He started panicking. Can you help the poor guy to find his way to the surface? He should swim in the direction where bubbles go. You're stuck in Antarctica. You're starting to run out of food, so you decide to explore your surroundings. At one point, you come across a chunk of bone with a crack in it. This bone might come in handy. What is the best way to use it? Crack it and use it as a second knife? Make an eyewear mask or make a flute to entertain yourself. An eyewear mask is the best option. It can save you from a big problem: snow blindness. Sunlight reflected off the snow and ice can cause serious eye problems. You find yourself trapped in an empty room with only a small knife, a water dispenser, and a large water bottle. There are 3 doors in the room. The corridor behind the first one is filled with toxic gas. Behind the second door, there are venomous snakes. And the third door is hiding a giant aquarium with hungry sharks. Which door should you choose? Empty the water dispenser and cut its top part with a knife. Put it over your head so that no air can get inside. Then leave fast through the first door. In the morning, Johnson found out that he had somehow turned into a metal robot. The place where he woke up was a dungeon. There were 3 corridors leading out of that place. The first passage had a treacherous floor. Some of its panels could collapse. Massive boulders fell from the ceiling of the second corridor every 30 seconds, and the third passage was filled with giant cacti with thorns covered in poison. Which corridor is the safest? Johnson's gotta pick the third corridor. Thorns would do no harm to his now metal body. Emma came to the office and found out that someone had deleted an important report from her computer. She questioned 3 people. Laura said she'd just arrived. Thomas answered he'd been out buying coffee and had just returned. And Eliza said she'd had a meeting with a client in a cafe. Who deleted Emma's report? Eliza. Pay attention to the suspect's feet. Thomas and Laura's shoes are wet. They got caught in the rain. But Eliza's high heels are perfectly dry. She must have lied about going to meet with a client. Famous chef Logan was going to have some very important guests in his restaurant. 1 hour before their arrival, Logan saw red handprints on his white jacket. Look at the other cooks and try to figure out who wants to ruin the chef's career. There's a pair of gloves stained with something red in the trash can. The only person who isn't wearing any gloves is the cook on the left. He must be the one to have spoiled Logan's uniform. One of these people on the train is hiding some treasure. Can you spot who it is? It's this man. At first glance, he's just overweight. But once you look closer, you'll realize that his belly has an uneven shape and is even a bit lumpy. Both of these ladies are in a terrible hurry. They're gonna be late for work. But while one of them might still get to the office on time, the other is definitely doing something wrong and won't make it. Put those attention skills of yours to good use. The first lady is bound to be late for work. She's trying to style her hair, but the tool she's using is unplugged. Look at these dishes very attentively. Which of them isn't safe to eat? Look at this piece of cake. There's a spider on it. And is it spinning a tiny web? I wouldn't eat this dessert if I were you. Joe had a friend, Randy, who never answered questions directly. Once, Joe sent Randy a message inviting him to join their friends in a cafe. Randy's answer was kinda weird. "Sorry, no money. Job and job." Luckily, Joe knew his friend well enough to understand what he meant. But can you figure it out? Randy meant he had no money because he was in between jobs. There are 3 fortune tellers working in an amusement park: Zelda, Salma, and Freya. But one of them is an imposter. Look at the women attentively and try to figure out who it is. Look, Salma has an earphone in her ear. It means someone is helping her to predict her visitor's fate. Mickey woke up in a small room without windows. She didn't know how she got there. The girl noticed a door with a combination lock on it. And on the floor next to her, there was a note. Spelled forward, "We're those rodents that terrify you. But what you need is spelled backward. You can't touch it, but you see it at night. What's the password?" The rodents the note speaks about are rats, and the word Mickey needs is star. The police suspected that Mr. Hall was a smuggler, transporting forbidden goods on his yacht. One day, they learned that the cargo they were looking for was on his vessel. Several police officers came to Mr. Hall with a search warrant. They examined every nook and cranny of his yacht but didn't find anything. Suddenly, one of the police officers realized where the cargo was. Do you know where it was hidden? The cargo could only be underwater. Wrapped in a protective cover, it was tied to the anchor. Now, look at these people attentively. Who's richer? The man on the left looks like a rich businessman, but he might be just pretending. His designer clothes could be fake. At the same time, the guy with green hair looks very informal, but he's holding a brand new laptop and expensive headphones. He is likely to be richer. Sam is talking to his lawyer in jail. They're very upset because the judge has refused to grant bail. At the end of the conversation, Sam is allowed to leave the jail. Why? Sam is visiting his lawyer, who was arrested and jailed.
Okay, get your brain going. Here we go. Andrew found his dream job, and all he has to do to get it is to solve one final riddle at the interview. There are 4 coins in 2 wallets, and one wallet has twice as many coins as the other. How is that possible? I hope you manage to solve the riddle and help Andrew. The solution is simple. One wallet is inside the other. One has 2 coins, the other has 4. Emma and Lily are drawing together. One is drawing a flower, the other a tree. Try to figure out what Emma is drawing if Lily is not drawing a flower. Lily is not drawing a flower, so Lily is drawing a tree, which means Emma is drawing a flower. A biologist named James discovered an amazing kind of amoeba. Each one divides into 2 every minute. James puts one amoeba into a test tube, and after 1 hour, the entire tube is full of amoebas. How long would it take to fill the test tube if James placed 2 amoebas in it at the start instead of 1? 59 minutes. Since each amoeba doubles every minute, the test tube would be full 1 minute earlier. 3 women are sitting in a prison cell. They all claim to be there by mistake and insist they let them out. But only one girl is actually innocent. Which one? It's the girl in the dirty clothes. Despite her appearance, her shoes are perfectly clean, which means she didn't run, fight, or resist. The pregnant woman has a tattoo on her wrist that says G-A-N-G. And the bride's dress is clearly stitched from prison bed sheets. There are 5 sisters in a room. Emma is knitting, Sophia is drawing, Olivia is playing chess, Ava is singing. So, what's the 5th sister doing? Easy peasy. Olivia needs a partner to play chess, so they are playing together. A wealthy man lives alone in a small cottage. Since he is partially disabled, he relies on deliveries. On Thursday, the mailman brought a letter and noticed that the man was gone. He called the police. The clues they found helped them name a suspect for the disappearance. Who is it? The mailman. There were no newspapers from Tuesday or Wednesday at the door, which means the mailman already knew the man was no longer there and didn't deliver them. So he must have known about the disappearance before Thursday. Lucas was supposed to fly to Paris. He arrived at the airport, checked in his luggage, received his boarding pass, and went to the departure area. Half an hour later, boarding was announced, but Lucas never showed up. His name was called 3 times, but he didn't appear. What happened to Lucas? He got distracted and sat too long at the cafe, forgetting the time. Without his boarding pass, he couldn't board the plane and didn't even realize boarding had started. His suitcase flew, but he didn't. Right before the final soccer match, the team's goalkeeper went missing. The police arrived and they had 3 suspects from the rival team. Ben said he was taking selfies with his fans. Mike said he had broken his ankle and he was getting a massage. Rock said he was training at the gym before the match. The police immediately knew who did it. It was Mike. You don't get a massage when you break your ankle. A young couple is walking on the beach in a foreign country. They see a friendly man who invites them to visit his small private museum. It would only take 15 minutes. But they see something really suspicious and decide not to go. What did they see? There are many footprints going in, but none coming out of the house. Plus, it looks really creepy. Diana is a really beautiful girl and has many fans. She got tired of them and decided to make some money out of them. But she can't ask for money directly. So she decided to ask for jewelry and sell it to make money. After 4 deals, she's got both money and jewelry, so her fans don't suspect anything. How is it possible? She asked 4 of her fans for the same diamond necklace, sold 3 necklaces, and kept 1. Liza has a dog she loves a lot. One day, it just disappeared, and there are 3 suspects who could have done it. Liza's friend is really offended that she's a suspect and explains she's allergic to dogs. Liza's neighbor said he was out of town and just came back. The mailman explains he's afraid of dogs and wouldn't approach any of them. So, who's lying? Lisa's friend is covered in dog hair and doesn't seem to have any allergy symptoms. She's hiding something. Reese is looking for love on a dating website. She likes 3 guys, but only one of them is telling the truth. Roger said he was an astronaut and had just come back from space. Mike said he was a scientist and went to the North Pole to study penguins. Nick said he was a helicopter pilot and broke the sound barrier. Who's not lying? Well, there are no penguins at the North Pole, and helicopters can't travel faster than the speed of sound. So Roger is telling the truth. Someone stole the most expensive ring from a jewelry store. The police suspect the shop assistant, the security, and the only visitor. The visitor explains he is just a taxi driver who brought 3 passengers to a nearby coffee shop. His car is outside. He came to the store to choose a gift for his girlfriend. The police don't trust him. Why? His car was a sports convertible with just 2 seats. The car wouldn't have fit 3 passengers. At a fancy party, someone snuck into the kitchen and added something to all the drinks. All but 2 guests got food poisoning. They didn't drink anything, and it looked suspicious. The first guy said he had to stay fresh for his morning marathon. The second guy explained he had a stomachache and didn't want to mix meds and drinks. So, who poisoned the drinks? It was the second guy. He has shoe covers on. He was wearing them not to leave footprints on the kitchen floor. Bob's girlfriend, Sam, loves riddles. One day, when she was away, Sam asked Bob to bring flowers to her relative, who is the daughter of the only son of her grandfather. Who is this mysterious relative Bob needs to visit? It turns out that it's Sam's sister. Laura is one final task away from passing a really important exam. Can you help her solve this equation? Find a set of 3 whole numbers, the sum of which will be the same as their total when multiplied. Well, these numbers are 1, 2, and 3. Harry plans to propose to his girlfriend, and he wants to choose the perfect moment in terms of weather. It's currently midnight and raining, but can he expect it to be sunny in 72 hours from now? Nope. In 72 hours, it's going to be night again, so definitely no sun for Harry. There's a barrel of water in the yard. Sandra looks inside and says it's more than half full, but her friend argues that it's less than half full. How can you figure out who's right without using any measuring tools or removing water from the barrel? Sandra must tilt the barrel so that the water touches its rim. If she can see the bottom, the barrel's less than half full. If the bottom is still covered with water, it's more than half full. A farmer has only goats, sheep, and horses on his farm. At the moment, they're all horses but 5, all goats but 4, and all sheep but 3. So how many of each animal does the farmer have? There are 3 sheep, 2 goats, and 1 horse on the farm. Altogether, there are 6 animals. So, did you get them all? Well done!
The police received a tip. A dangerous criminal is hiding at the beach, disguised as a regular tourist. She's one of the girls standing under a shower now. Can you figure out which one is dangerous? It's the third girl in the gold swimsuit. Have you noticed that she's showering with latex gloves? No tourist would do that. She doesn't want to leave her fingerprints on any surfaces, afraid of being exposed. Sarah needs to fry 6 pies. How can she do it in 15 minutes if the pan only fits 4 pies at a time and each pie needs to fry for 5 minutes on each side? Sarah places 4 pies on the pan and fries them for 5 minutes. Then she flips 2 pies, removes the other 2, and places 2 new uncooked pies. After frying for 5 minutes, she removes the 2 finished pies, flips the remaining 2, places the last 2 uncooked pies, and leaves them for 5 minutes. Detective Case visited a lake where 3 people were minding their own business. One was swimming, one was fishing, and the other was in a boat. When the swimmer came ashore, she saw that her bracelet was missing, yet there were no footprints in the sand. Case instantly realized who had taken the bracelet. Do you know it too? It was the fisherman. He hooked the bracelet with his rod without stepping onto the sand. The captain of a Japanese ship left his watch in his cabin while he went to oil the ship. When he came back, the watch was gone. He questioned 3 crew members. The cook said he'd been in the kitchen making dinner. The engineer said he'd been in the engine room. The seaman said he'd been fixing the flag on the mast because it was upside down. The captain understood who the thief was. Who did it? The seaman. The Japanese flag looks the same right side up or upside down. A man rushed into the hospital, saw his wife lying in a bed, and shouted, "Who poisoned her?" Detective File stopped him and asked where he'd been. The man answered that he'd been at a friend's house when his housekeeper called. She told him his wife had collapsed and had been taken to the hospital. As soon as he got the news, he ran over. Detective File arrested the man immediately. Why? Because no one ever said she was poisoned, only that she collapsed. Sam came to his office and found a large sum of cash missing. 3 people could have entered the office. John said that he'd been outside drinking coffee. Marcus explained that he'd been sitting at his desk, working. And Lisa said that she'd felt unwell and had been resting. Who took the money? See that coffee cup on John's desk? Why would he go outside if he'd had enough coffee at hand? He must be the thief. A jeweler holding ice near his right temple claimed that a well-dressed man with a cane had come in to check out some rings. Suddenly, the man hit the jeweler on the head with the cane. When the jeweler came to his senses, the rings were gone. Strangely, the police arrested the jeweler. Why? If the man had been holding the cane in his right hand, the jeweler would have been hit on the left temple, not the right. The jeweler made up the robbery to claim insurance. Inspector Winters questioned the main suspect, Mr. Logan, after a crash caused by a speeding car. The inspector also said that the car, according to witnesses, was very loud. Logan claimed that he hadn't driven in 2 days. It was his wife who used their car that morning. Also, to prove his car was very quiet, he sat inside and started it. The car, indeed, ran silently, but the inspector immediately realized Logan had lied. How? If Logan hadn't driven recently, the seat wouldn't have been adjusted to his height. Martin was playing tennis with his friend David. He hit the ball too hard. It flew into the air and fell down a hollow fence post. The post was narrow and Martin couldn't get the ball out of there. Luckily, David had an idea. In no time, the guy helped Martin get the ball back. How did he do it? David used a water hose lying nearby. He filled the pipe with water and the ball floated up. A woman saw a guy getting robbed. She screamed to warn him, but did nothing else to prevent the robbery. Why? She was just watching a TV show. An accident happens at a gas station. Some petrol spills out and catches fire. The flames are spreading toward huge drums just a few feet away. If the fire reaches them, there will be a blast. Thomas brings a water pipe to help put the fire out, but the manager stops him. Why? Pouring water will only make the fire spread faster. The manager quickly throws some soil over it and puts out the fire. Two people were born at the same time, but they don't celebrate their birthdays on the same day. How is it possible? They were born in different time zones, and in one of these zones, it was already the next day. A man was in a 9-story building when a fire started. He jumped out the window and didn't get any injuries. How is it possible? The man was on the first floor when he jumped out the window. 4 prisoners took up art classes. They studied every Monday. Guards escorted them to the art room and searched the prisoners at the end of every lesson. All the prisoners had their own art supplies, which they kept inside their cells. The question is, which of them has more chances to escape? It's this prisoner. He can use his supplies to paint his clothes green. This way, he'll look like a guard and will be able to sneak out of jail. Alia dreams of eating some mangoes. There's a mango tree next to a nearby pond, but an imitator monkey lives on top of it. The girl can't reach the fruit. What can she do instead? She can throw something at the monkey. It'll imitate her and throw a mango at her. Mark got locked in a basement. There were no windows, only a door with a letter combination lock. What could probably give him some hint was a note he found in the corner. What is the code word? Mark managed to get out of the basement. The code word was SMART. The key to this riddle was hidden in the alphabet. P plus 3 letters is S, N minus 1 letter is M, and so on. A police officer was patrolling the streets on a winter evening. Suddenly, she saw a person sneaking out of a house through a window with 2 large bags. The officer ran after the criminal, but the burglar must have hidden in one of these houses. Which one? It's not the house on the left. There are too many people inside. There are no footprints in the snow leading to the house on the right. No one has been there for quite some time. So, it's the house in the middle. There are 4 cups on the counter, all of them upturned and hiding the same number of sweets underneath. Near each of the cups, there's a sign that says how many sweets are under it. The signs are 5 or 6, 7 or 8, 6 or 7, and 7 or 5. Only one of these signs is correct. How many sweets are there under each cup? Since only one sign is correct, the right number can't appear twice. It means there are 8 sweets under each cup. After a bank had been robbed, the police found a bag with money in the park. It was lying among cacti. The police officer arrested 3 suspects. It didn't take long to figure out who the bank robber was. Do you know who it is? It's the man on the left. He's the only one with some scratches. They must have been left by the cacti.
Hey there, Sherlock. How are you doing? There are some tricky logical riddles that need your attention. If you're ready, let's start. Lisa urgently needs a doctor for a consultation, but all she sees is their feet. Can you help Lisa identify the doctor? The woman in socks seemed to have taken off her shoes, which is not allowed for safety and hygiene reasons. The woman in sandals looks tired, and she could be a companion or a long-term patient. The woman in high heels has bowed legs, so she is used to standing for long periods, and many doctors in leadership positions dress formally. So she is the doctor. 2 cyclists are competing in the final stretch of an intense street cycling race. Both look exhausted, but one of them will manage to keep up the pace until the end. Can you guess who will win? The cyclist on the left looks physically and mentally exhausted. Her head is down, she's close to reaching her limit. The cyclist on the right keeps her eyes on the goal and still adjusts her posture to gain momentum. Seems like she still has enough energy to win the race. A hiker needs to cross a narrow river in a forest reserve. There are 3 different bridges nearby, and all of them look good, but only 2 are safe. Can you tell which bridge is not safe to cross? The wooden bridge looks pretty well maintained and structured. The rope bridge shows signs of wear, but it's nothing serious, and it looks like someone used this bridge recently. The concrete bridge seems like the strongest, but it has structural cracks and mold and could collapse anytime, so it's not safe. 3 friends are trapped in an abandoned warehouse. The place is full of rubble and unstable parts. They find 3 escape routes, but only one of them is safe and possible. How can they escape? The hole in the roof may seem promising, but the ladder is old and can give way. The window with rusty bars seems fragile, but rusty bars still require tools to be removed. The door is partially blocked, but these guys can easily move the boxes together. They can escape through the back door. At a new coffee shop, they offer 1 free cup to each customer. Steve is waiting in line and notices the most beautiful girl he's ever seen. But, sadly for him, she's married. Can you find her husband among these guys? It's the man on the right. He's the only one without coffee. And the girl is holding 2 cups, one for herself and one for her spouse. All the richest people in town are at a reception at the Japanese restaurant. Suddenly, the lights go off. When the power is back, Seema notices someone stole her diamond necklace. There are 3 suspects. Damien, the waiter, says he was busy serving drinks. Liza says she was taking selfies in the bathroom. And Mimi says she was enjoying her pizza and didn't notice a thing around her. Who is lying? It's Mimi. She couldn't be enjoying pizza at a fancy Japanese restaurant. Kate missed her alarm and now she's late for work. Her boss calls her and she tells him she got stuck on the subway, but she's 5 minutes away from the office. Her boss believed her. How did she convince him? Kate just played the subway sound on her laptop to make it sound convincing. After a fashion show at a castle, all models get up on the stage for one final photo. Someone spills paint from the balcony on the designer's favorite model. There were several people on the balcony. Can you guess who did it by just looking at this picture? It's the red-haired one on the left. She has a rope in her hands and it's tied to the bucket. Ooh, Carrie. Steve is tired after a long day at work, so he falls asleep on the express train. When he wakes up, his tablet is missing. The guy who's sitting next to him says he was listening to music with his eyes closed, so he didn't see anything. The lady says she is against all gadgets. And the girl on the right says she was reading her book and got carried away. So, who took the tablet? It was the girl on the right. She hid it inside her book. Sam and Polly are on a first date. They're chatting for hours and seem to have a connection. Then Sam leaves for the bathroom, and after he comes back, Polly says she needs to go and asks him never to call her again. Why? Well, he left his phone on the table, and you can see it's still ringing in silent mode, and the caller ID says wifey. Uh-oh. Three besties go to a selfie museum to take some cool photos together. They're having a blast and can't wait to post the photos. When they sit down to choose the best ones, the girls scream in fear. What's wrong? They notice a strange figure in the back of all the photos. Either there was some stranger with them the whole time, or something is really weird about that museum. Patrick got separated from his group in the desert. He noticed a sandstorm coming his way. He had three options: to run away from the sandstorm, to hide behind a big rock, or to hide in the desert's dry riverbed. What should he do? Well, he will never outrun a sandstorm. The riverbed is also not such a good idea, as it's too low and the sand from the storm can fill the entire hole in no time. His best option would be to hide behind a big rock. Ashley was late for an important lecture at college, so she ignored several stop signs along the way. A police car passed by her exactly when she was turning the wrong way onto a one-way street. But the officers didn't arrest her. Why? Well, I never mentioned she was driving. Ashley decided to run to college, not to get stuck in traffic. Judy is at a job interview. She successfully answered many questions, and now it's time for the final test. She needs to open a safe that has a code. There's a calendar next to it that says FWM. What does it mean, and what's the code? It's 531. The letters stand for the days of the week: Monday, Friday, and Wednesday. Monday is the first day, Friday is the fifth, and Wednesday is the third. One of Bob's housemates stole an expensive ring he bought to propose to his girlfriend. Nick says he was away the whole day and just got back. Charlie says he was busy painting the walls and the ceiling and is just finished. Ben says he was sleeping the whole day after a night at work. So, who took the ring? It was Charlie. His clothes are too fancy and his hands are too clean for a person who was painting all day and didn't have time to change. Someone stole an extremely valuable painting from a private gallery. 3 people had appeared next to the gallery before the crime occurred. Linda, who had been sketching in her notebook, Jamie, who claimed to have been installing the lights, and Lulu, who said she had been simply admiring the artwork. Can you figure out who's the thief? Look closely at Linda's notebook. Among her sketches, there is a detailed drawing of the stolen painting. She probably took it to copy it. So, do you have what it takes to be a professional detective? Feel free to brag about your success in the comments below.
Ryan opened his own private detective firm, but he needs your help with his toughest cases. The detective gets a call from a coffee shop. The customers are acting strangely, so the owner suspects a bitter employee might have poisoned them. But after analyzing the customers, Ryan believes it's just a false alarm. Why? This old man looks like he fainted, but his coffee cup is still full, so he's fine. Same with the student. And the woman? Her drink is empty, so if it had been poisoned, she would have collapsed already. The coffee shop owner feels relieved, but before Ryan leaves, he gives the detective one last challenge. He hands him this riddle. 12 apples hanging high. 12 men passing by. Each took an apple and left 11 hanging there. How can this be? Can you solve it? Well, each is actually a man's name. Now it makes sense, right? Ryan was walking when he heard a teen screaming. She was trapped in a fire. He immediately dropped his wallet, hat, and watch on the ground, then rushed inside to help her. When he came back, he knew someone had touched his things. But how did he know? Do you remember how he left his stuff? His wallet was on the left side, not on the right. Someone must have moved it. And he was right. He opened the wallet and saw that his money was gone. But there was a strange note inside with an enigma. I stay in the corner but travel around the world. What am I? Do you know the answer? Time's up. And the answer is a stamp. Right after, Ryan found 8 different stamps inside his wallet, and one of them reminded him of the place where he spent his honeymoon. He even remembered that he had to learn some basic Spanish words to go there. So, can you guess which stamp he's looking at? Correct, it's this one. This stamp is from Mexico, the only Spanish-speaking country here. Back at the office, a worried mom comes in with her twin daughters. They look exactly alike, but the mother is sure that one of them isn't really her kid. Can you spot which one? It's the second girl. Look closely. She has 3 hands. She must be an extraterrestrial. The creatures then promise that her real daughter is safe, and it shows a letter that supposedly came from her. It says, "I'm with Robgin." The mother looks closely and confirms it's her daughter's handwriting, but has no idea what it means. Can you figure it out? Robgien isn't a name at all. It's a secret code. Read it backwards, and you get neighbor. So the girl is just next door. Noah is quite sure that his wife is cheating on him, so he asks Ryan for help. Noah explains that he was away for a whole week, and he suspects his wife went on a secret date during that time. Ryan goes to their house, and Mary says, "That's a lie, I didn't leave home, not even once." They check the security cameras, and now Ryan is certain she is cheating. But how? Mary told the truth. She didn't leave, but her lover came over. Look at camera 3. You can see one of his legs sticking out of the door. Suddenly, the lover storms into the house, grabs Mary, and drags her away. Then he sets the place on fire. Now Noah and Ryan are trapped. The flames are spreading fast and they need to escape. They spot 3 things that could help: a vase, a key ring, and a bucket of water. But which one should they choose? Let's see. There are too many keys here, and they don't have time to test them all. That's barely any water, and the fire is already out of control. So they must pick the vase, because it's heavy enough to smash the window and get out. The lover agrees to turn himself in, but there's a catch. Ryan has to figure out which of the 4 houses he's hiding in. The clue says, "I'm an odd number. Take away 1 letter, and I become even. What number am I?" The answer is 7. That means the lover must be in the last house. Busted! Ryan then gets a call from Mr. Johnson, who's in a panic. He says, "My basement is completely flooded. Help!" Ryan rushes to the scene. The floor is covered in water, and everything looks soaked. But something feels off. He suspects Mr. Johnson is lying to get insurance money. How did Ryan know? Look at the pipes on the ceiling. There's no water coming from them and no sign of leaks. The only explanation is that Mr. Johnson poured the water there himself. A doctor calls Ryan for help. A patient needs an emergency blood transfusion and there's no time for tests. Suddenly, a woman rushes in and says, "He's my husband. His blood type is O negative. Please hurry." But the doctor suspects she's lying. Why? She says the patient is her husband, but take a closer look at the nails. They're painted. That means the patient is a woman, not the husband. So, what else might she be lying about? Just then, Ryan hears screams from the hospital cafeteria. A man suddenly collapses into his food. Someone clearly tried to poison him, and there are 2 main suspects nearby. So, who did it? It looks like the woman did it. There's a strange red liquid on her plate, and it seems dangerous. In the surgery room, a doctor is getting ready to perform a high-risk operation. He picks up the tools, turns to the nurse, and says, "Scalpel, please." At that moment, Ryan bursts through the door and yells for them to stop immediately. But why? Look closely at this guy. His stethoscope is on backwards. He's not a real doctor. Ryan's newest client received a mysterious gift. But first, she wants to know who sent it. Clara isn't sure if it came from her boyfriend Bob, her brother Leo, or her father Daniel. Can you figure it out? It was from her brother. Look closely. The package has a bunch of 7s written on it, but they're actually upside down. They formed the letter L, which stands for Leo. Before Clara opens the gift, she notices a clue about what's inside. The note says, "If you drop me, I'm sure to crack. Give me a smile and I'll always smile back." Do you know what it is? Time's up. It's a mirror. Next, Ryan heads to a crime scene. A rich man is lying dead on the floor. He questions the butler, who says, "I was outside on the street when it happened. It was raining and his clothes were soaking wet, but when the police arrived, they arrested him immediately. Why?" Because his clothes were wet, but his umbrella was completely dry. He probably faked the alibi. Ryan visits a museum. In one of the rooms, he spots 3 ancient pieces, but something catches his eye, and he's sure one of them is fake. Which one is it? Oh, look closely! What's a Japanese letter doing on this vase? It can't be from ancient Egypt. So this one is definitely fake. The detective is starving, so he stops to grab a hot dog. Each one costs $3. Ryan notices that the vendor makes 10 hot dogs in 5 minutes. At that rate, how much money does the vendor make in 30 minutes if he sells them all? Let's see. In 5 minutes, the vendor makes 10 hot dogs and sells them for $30. That means in 30 minutes, he makes $180. Not bad. Ryan wants to end the day with something sweet, but he wants you to guess his craving. Here's the clue. What's pink, goes in hard and dry, and comes out soft and wet? If you answered bubblegum, you got it right. So, how sharp were your detective skills today? Count how many mysteries you solved and let us know in the comments. And don't forget to challenge your friends. Let's see who's the ultimate detective. 3 tourists entered an ancient pyramid and found a chamber with an inscription. "What does not honor the pharaoh shall remain here forever." They saw 3 buttons with the following symbols: the sun, a scarab, and an ankh. There was also a warning that only one button opens the passage, and the others trigger dangerous traps. One of the tourists immediately pressed the correct button. Which button was it, and why did they choose it? It was the ankh. In ancient Egypt, it symbolized life, so it's the most logical choice. A golden amulet went missing during an excavation. Anna claimed she spent the day photographing wall paintings. Jack said he'd been studying the treasure map inside the tent. And Lena said she had been sketching outdoors. But the tracks in the sand led from the tent to the pyramid and back, and those were deep, narrow footprints with small heels. Do you know who took the amulet? It was Lena. She was the only one outside, and the small-heeled footprints point to her. An archaeologist descended into a lost Mayan pyramid and discovered 3 ancient masks. Which mask should he choose to find the treasure and stay alive? He should pick the jade mask with the symbols of the storm god. The Mayans trusted him with their gold and secrets. As for the rest of the masks, the golden snake is a symbol of the underworld, and it can lure one to their demise. And the jaguar is associated with aggression and night hunting, so it can lead Nathan to danger. 3 archaeologists, Dr. Laura, Mr. Thomas, and Professor Blake, are exploring a lost Mayan temple. They discover 3 stone tablets with mysterious symbols and inscriptions. Dr. Laura chooses the mirror-shaped symbol. Mr. Thomas touches the carved serpent's eye. Professor Blake steps onto the stone with a crescent moon. Who is in danger? Professor Blake. He stepped on the moon symbol, which warns he won't return. Mr. Thomas awakens the curse, and only Dr. Laura chooses wisely. She unlocks the path to the treasure. Jack finds an ancient Mayan scroll with an engraved message. Where the sun bids farewell to the day, where the river coils like a snake, where moss always hides in the shade, there the pyramid's peak is hidden from view. Jack stands by the river with a dense forest in the north, rocky cliffs and the blazing sun in the south, a clear path in the east, and a river surrounded by trees in the west. Where should Jack go? West. That's where the sun bids farewell, or sets. The river curves like a snake, and the trees provide shade. Alex arrives at a remote jungle village, hoping to find the lost ruins of an ancient Mayan city. 3 people offer to guide him. A pretty woman wants $500. An old man with a donkey wants $50. A cheerful guy in a Hawaiian shirt promises to guide Alex for $300. Only one of these people is a true guide. Can you tell who? The real guide is the old man with the donkey. He asks for a reasonable price. He's not flashy or pushy, and he has a map and a means of transportation. Justin was an archaeologist who explored ancient pyramids. One day, something went wrong, and he ended up locked in a tiny room deep underground. There was only one other door in the room, but it was locked. To open it, the guy had to solve a riddle. After mulling it over for some time, Justin guessed what it meant. Can you? The answer is, try to understand. Once, something went wrong. Yep, again. And he got locked in a tiny room. To open the door, the guy had to solve a riddle and enter the correct 4-digit code. What code should Justin enter? Each digit of the code is the number of letters in the alphabet that stand between the letters in the riddle. So, the code is 5139. There are 3 doors in front of you, with snakes, scorpions, and scarabs behind each of them respectively. You need to choose the safest one. Hopefully you know that scarabs are harmless, so you should pick the 3rd door. One day, Julia fell asleep in the park. She woke up in a strange room with 3 doors. There were random objects lying around: bricks, empty bottles, ropes, and even a barrel. There was also a note on the wall. Behind one of these doors, there's a staircase that leads to freedom. You don't want to know what's lurking behind the other 2 doors. Julia got really frightened, but she managed to get out soon. What did she do? She dragged the barrel toward each of the doors, climbed on it, and checked whether the staircase was there. Once she spotted it, she was free. Look at these people attentively. Who do you think is in greater danger? The lion won't necessarily attack the man, of course, if he doesn't provoke the animal. If the guy tries his best to look unthreatening, the lion might simply ignore him. But the snake can easily tighten its grip, which can end very badly for this girl. Mr. Smart's wife went missing. A detective came to investigate this case. Mr. Smart told her that the last time he'd seen his wife had been in the morning. She was having breakfast. When he returned home at 6 p.m., her breakfast was still on the table, but she had disappeared. After hearing the man's story, the detective immediately arrested Mr. Smart. Why did he do so? When the detective arrived at the Smart's house, the breakfast on the table was still steaming. This means Mr. Smart had set up the scene right before he called the police. Do you see anything suspicious in this room? I'll help you. One object is haunted. A small hint: pay attention to those balloons left after a small party. Have you noticed that the red balloon has a pin in it? But strangely, even pierced, the balloon remains intact, and the air is still inside. It must be the haunted object. Look at these elderly ladies. Both of them have gone out for a walk. At first glance, they seem totally normal, but one of them is actually planning something bad. Can you figure out which granny it is? It's the granny on the right. She's got a file hidden in her knitting basket. A renowned chemist disappeared right from his lab. There was no evidence except a piece of paper lying on his desk. It had the names of 5 elements: nickel, carbon, oxygen, lanthanum, and sulfur. The guard reported that 3 people had visited the chemist that day: his sister Laura, his colleague Nicholas, and his wife Tessa. The criminal was arrested immediately. Who was it? The list of chemicals is a clue. Their abbreviations spell out the name Nicholas.
Sometimes, solving a riddle isn't just a fun brain exercise, it could save someone else's life. Let's see if you can make it. It's summertime and everyone's at the beach. But for one of these girls, the dream vacation could end in a tragedy. Can you tell who's in danger here? Although the second girl looks well equipped and prepared for anything, she's in dark water that could be dangerous. The first girl is in the shallow right next to the beach, so she can just run away or ask for help in case of danger. Okay, this time 2 guys are on vacation. They have completely different ideas of fun, so one is mountain skiing and the other one prefers surfing. Again, one of them is in real danger. Can you guess who? Well, that wave looks huge and scary, but it shouldn't be a problem for an experienced surfer. Meanwhile, screaming loudly in the mountains isn't the best idea though. It could start an avalanche. So the skiing guy should watch out. Leslie and Sam also have completely different ideas of fun. So Leslie is enjoying a beach day and Sam is exploring the forest. Which of the girls could be risking her life this very second? Now, unless a huge tsunami suddenly rolls in, Leslie is perfectly safe. Sam, on the other hand, has ignored the "danger, do not enter" sign. Who knows what those plants could do to her? Ashley and Dana are having a spa day. Each of them orders drinks to relax even more after a long massage. But, oh no, one of them is about to get more than drinks, and it's not good. Who's in danger here? Ashley should be perfectly fine. The water is cold and the tray looks pretty stable. But Dana is about to get a hot tea shower on her uncovered back. And there's one more suspicious detail: an open tiny bottle with acids. Uh-oh. Tina and Scarlett want to go on a hot air balloon ride. The instructor offers to let them choose the balloon, a blue one, a green one, or a red one. Tina picks her favorite color, red, and Julie wants to go for the green one. Which of the girls is in danger? The color isn't that important when it comes to a hot air balloon. There are no sandbags in the red one, so Tina is about to risk her life. Hey, math fans! If you're tired of saving lives, this one's for you. How does a 9 become a 6 by adding one letter? Well, I tricked you. It's more about thinking outside the box in math. Put a letter S in front of the Roman numeral 9 and you'll get 6. See? Here comes another one. I add 5 to 9 and get 2. No mistake here, but what am I? If you add 9 days to 5 days, hey, you'll get 2 weeks. Ricky found money, a phone, and salted fish. But out of all this, he grabbed the salted fish and ran away. Strange choice. Can you guess what made him choose the fish? Well, Ricky is a cat and can't appreciate money or phones. Alright, cats are cute, but this one is about monkeys. In which month do they prefer to play baseball? Don't even try to find some logic here. It's all in the word itself. It's April, or more like April. Get it? Willie and Billy are twins, and they have the same tastes and like the same things. There's only one thing they don't share, and it's love for cats. By looking at their houses, can you guess which one of them loves cats? Willie has cat toys casually spread on the floor, and the wallpaper at his house is scratched at the bottom of the wall. So he's the cat lover. Lady Martha has a special talent. When people approach her at the fair one by one, she tells each of them something different. She tells the man pizza, the little girl ice cream, and the woman salmon bowl. What is Lady Martha's talent? She can see what other people have just eaten. That's one rare and weird special talent, I must say. Unless they're sloppy and spilled food on their shirts, like I do, then it's easy. All colleagues are bragging about their fun summer vacations. They all show photos and share stories. But one of them is obviously lying about their adventures. Can you guess who? Well, this guy definitely didn't visit Paris this summer. In his photo, the Eiffel Tower is in the middle of the desert, and it's actually in the center of Paris. You've got really bad Photoshop skills, my friend. Brittany checks into a hotel room and falls onto the bed. But suddenly, there's a knock on the door, and a group of clowns with dog balloons breaks in and makes her dance for them. When she sits on the bed, she sighs in relief. What just happened there? It's already light outside, and it was dark when Brittany was checking in. So all this was just a nightmare, although a very realistic one. It's a busy day at the coffee shop. Lucy, the waitress, comes up to one of the tables to pick up the mugs. Moments later, she's calling the police from the kitchen. Why? The girl at the table left a tiny message on the mug with her lipstick, saying SOS. Looks like her date turned out to be a dangerous person. Mrs. Green has a huge house and several helpers. One day, she calls the police and says one of her staff members must have stolen a large sum of money and her jewelry. The suspects are the gardener, the cook, and the laundry lady. Can you tell who stole the valuables? It must have been the laundry lady or someone who wanted to make it look like she did it. Look, there's money and jewelry inside the washing machine. Douglas is interviewing for his dream job. He's already passed a lot of tests, and now it's time for the final decisive challenge. The interviewer asks him to prove that the pen on the table doesn't exist, and he does it with just one question. But how? He asks the interviewer, "Excuse me, which pen are you talking about?" It's raining so hard that no one can see anything, and all traffic is stuck. Lightning flashes in the black sky, and people are running to safety. Everyone is soaked, but one man is lucky. Not a single hair on his head got wet. How is this possible? Well, the man is bald, so he has no hair on his head. You wake up inside a plane from a super loud engine. You don't remember getting in and don't know what's going on. You get up from your chair and notice there's no one else on the plane. You walk forward, look into the cockpit, and the pilots aren't there either. You decide to leave, open the emergency exit, and jump out of the plane. You land on the asphalt unharmed. How is this possible? Well, the plane wasn't flying anywhere. It was standing on the ground this whole time. Nina is taking exams to study at the most prestigious cooking school in the world. The final question is, what product will never be salty when you boil it, no matter how much salt you add? Please help Nina pass this uneasy exam. Well, it's an egg in the shell. No matter how much salt there is in the water, the boiled egg won't be salty. Someone locked 10 people in one room. A mechanical voice from the outside says that to get out of the room, you have to place an apple in such a way that everyone but one person can see it. Do you have any ideas how to do it? Put the apple on the head of one of the people, and it's done. Stacy loves traveling. Today she's flying to a new destination. There are just 3 flights in the next hour. One to Berlin, another one to Rome, and the third one to London. Can you guess where Stacy is going? She's headed to London. You can see she has a sticker from Berlin and a keychain from Rome on her suitcase, so she has already been to those cities. Wow, if you manage to solve all these riddles, congrats! You can handle any situation with your logic and wits.
Let's warm up with a few quick math questions. Then we'll move on to 5 levels of challenges. Are you ready? What's the result of this equation? It's 13. If you double 25 and subtract 10, what do you get? Correct, 40. What do you get when you multiply 14 by 5? That's 70. Nailed it. Now look at this sequence. Which number is missing here? Easy, 20. What's 4 cubed? That's 4 times 4 times 4, which equals 64. Now that we're warmed up, it's time for the real challenges. Welcome to Level 1. Number Newbie. A princess is trapped in a castle, and only one door will lead to her freedom. There's a clue on the wall. It says, I'm a number between 10 and 20, and the sum of my digits equals 3. Which door should she choose? The correct door is the one marked 12, because 1 plus 2 equals 3. Hurry up, princess! Take a look at this equation. You only need to move one matchstick to make it correct. Any idea how? Take this matchstick and move it right here. And there you have it. 3 minus 2 equals 1. Isabella is at the post office to pick up a package that is shaped like a dodecahedron. So, which one should she grab? Yep, that's the one. Next, a movie theater has 350 seats. Out of those, 175 tickets have been sold. Now tell me, what percentage of the seats are filled? Since half the seats are taken, the theater is exactly 50% full. Can you spot the odd number out? Look closely. It's 67. All the others divide evenly by 7. Okay, get ready, because level 2 is here. Speed Solver. Oh no! Sophia's brother has locked her teddy bear inside a cage and she can only free it by cracking the code. The clue on the lock says 200 divided by 5 times 8 equals. Can you guess it? The code is 320. Teddy is safe! Next up, form the smallest 3-digit number you can using the digits 1, 2, and 0. You can't start with 0 since it needs to be a proper 3-digit number. So, the smallest number you can make is 102. Now tell me, which of these is the smallest number? The smallest is 21, so the answer is option A. Take a look at this addition pyramid. Follow the arrows and figure out which numbers should fill in the blank spaces. The missing numbers are 3, 5, and 13. Did you get them all right? Time for a matchstick challenge. You need to remove 2 sticks to make 4 equal squares. Can you spot which ones? Remove these 2 right here. And there you have it. Alright, it's time to level up. Welcome to level 3, Logic Legend. Take a good look at this table. Can you figure out the mystery number? Well, let's see. Each column follows the same pattern. First, we've got 7 times 4 equals 28. Minus 1 gives us 27. Next up, 8 times 5 is 40. Minus 2, that's 38. So if we keep that same logic going, 9 times 6 is 54. Minus 3, and the missing number is 51. Check out these numbers and answer. What parking spot is the car sitting in? Turn the image upside down. Now you'll see it. It's a simple sequence. And the car is parked in spot 87. 3 waiters deliver 3 different meals. Table 1 gets an orange juice and a hamburger. Table 2 gets 2 hamburgers and an ice cream. And Table 3 just ordered a juice and an ice cream. We know the total price of each table's meal. So, how much does each item cost? The hamburger costs $9, the juice is $3, and the ice cream is $16. Yeah, that ice cream better be amazing. What's the result of this equation? Division and multiplication come first, so the result is 65. Observe this sequence. Now answer. What number goes in the green circle? The numbers go up by 25 each time, so the missing number is 300. Are you ready to become a pro? This is Level 4, Math Master. We've got the sequence: 2, 5, 10, 17, 26. Can you tell what comes next? Well, the number between the numbers is increasing by 2 each time. Plus 3, plus 5, plus 7, plus 9. So the next jump should be plus 11. That gives us 37. You need to fix this equation by moving just one matchstick. But how? Yep, move that stick. And now it reads 18 plus 1 equals 19. Nice work! Carla is playing tic-tac-toe, but she can only use numbers that are multiples of 6. To win the match, which number will she use? The next move is for the blue player, who's about to place the number 36. So, to win the game, Carla will go with the number 42. That's the answer. We've got 2 mobiles hanging from a scale, and together they weigh 24 pounds. So, based on the balance, can you figure out how much each shape weighs? Each mobile weighs 12 pounds, right? So that means the diamond weighs 2, the clover is 3, the star is 1, and the moon is 4. Mystery solved! You're building a cube using toothpicks for the edges and marshmallows to connect them at the corners. So here's the challenge. How many toothpicks and marshmallows do you need to make one cube? A cube has 12 edges, so you'll need 12 toothpicks. And it has 8 corners. That means 8 marshmallows to hold everything together. Nice and yummy. It's time for Level 5, Ultimate Boss. Only the sharpest minds make it this far. Ready to prove you're one of them? All right. Can you count the number of blocks in this image before time runs out? There's 1 block on top, 3 in the middle, and 5 at the bottom. That makes a total of 9 blocks. How fast did you figure this one out? Pay attention to this table. Can you figure out the missing number? Let's crack the pattern. Take the first digit, multiply it by the second, and then add the third. So for this one, 5 times 2 equals 10. Plus 7, that gives us 17. A father notices that if he reverses the digits of his age, he gets his son's age. 9 years ago, the father was twice as old as his son. How old are they now? After doing the math, here's the answer. The father is 63 and the son is 36. This one went viral, and yep, it's way harder than it looks. The internet was totally divided over the answer. Can you solve this? Even though there's a division, we start with the brackets. 1 plus 2 equals 3. Now it becomes 6 divided by 2 times 3. Go left to right. 6 divided by 2 equals 3. 3 times 3 equals 9. And that's the correct answer, 9. Over half the students at Harvard, MIT, and Princeton got this one wrong. Let's see if you can crack it. A bat and a ball cost $1.10 in total. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. How much does the ball cost? Your intuition must have screamed 10 cents, right? Wrong! If the ball were 10 cents, that would make the bat $1.10, which adds up to $1.20. So the ball actually costs 5 cents, and the bat is $1.05. Okay, deep breath. This is the final challenge. We've got 3 different equations, and each one uses 3 identical digits. Your mission is to make the result equal to 6. And we have 2 rules. Rule number 1. You can only use basic math operations. Rule 2. You can't introduce any new numbers. Ready? Time's up, and here's how it's done. Did you get all of them right? The fun part is that this challenge has more than one solution. Can you figure out the other ones? If so, let us know in the comments.
Alright, look at these two people locked in jail cells. The woman's crouching, surrounded by several lit candles. The smoke's rising and she's coughing. The man is standing, surrounded by hordes of rats. He tries not to move and seems to be calm. Which of these two is in danger? The woman might be surrounded by smoke, but it's escaping through the cell bars and will soon dissipate. She can also extinguish the candles by blowing them out. The man, however, could be attacked by the rats with nowhere to escape, so he's in danger. Betty was having lunch in a cafe when several police officers came in. They were looking for a criminal who had escaped from the police station the day before. Betty started to look around, examining the visitors. She spotted the criminal even faster than the officers did. Who was it? Look at the barman. He's wearing handcuffs. 3 vials filled with colored liquids are on the table in a lab. Someone has tampered with one of them by adding a poisonous substance. Which vial is it? We see that the red vial is intact. There are no signs of tampering. The yellow vial has fingerprints all over it, but the liquid is just slightly cloudy. There's no reaction going on. Someone may have simply examined it. But look at the blue vial. That vapor and spills are clear signs that something's wrong. So the blue vial has been tampered with. 2 identical vans were crossing the bridge when it collapsed. The cars fell into the water and started sinking. The drivers had to find the way to the surface really fast. One of them began to push the driver's door, and the other was trying to open the side door. Who has a higher chance of survival? The first driver won't be able to open the door because of the water pressure, but the side door in the second car is a sliding one. The second driver will be able to open it and escape. A hint for that first driver? Crank open the window to let the water in. Then you can open the door. Hey, just saying. Mr. Johnson had a very expensive vase, and one day it disappeared. An hour after he discovered it was missing, he got a message. It said, "If you don't come here in 10 minutes with $100,000, your vase will be broken." There was a photo attached to the message. Mr. Johnson realized it was some hotel. In that area, there were 3 of them: the Hero of California, Hummingbird, and Youth Hostel. Where should the man go? Mr. Johnson should hurry to Hummingbird. It's the only hotel that has the 7th floor. 3 expensive watches have been stolen from Mr. Brown's store this year. The police haven't been able to help the man, so he decides to hire a private detective. The detective asks for the CCTV footage from January to December. After watching it, he tells the store owner who the thief is. What did he notice in the video? The same guy came to the store several times, in April, August, and November, and every time he has a cast on his arm, but no broken bone would need 8 months to heal. Kenneth was hungry. He found a nice diner that served burgers and bought one. After a waiter brought him his order, Kenneth went to the bathroom to wash his hands. But when he came back, his burger was gone. The guy looked around the diner and understood who had taken his lunch. Can you figure it out? It's the young woman with a dog sitting at her feet and sniffing the air. If she was just drinking coffee, which is what she's pretending to do, the dog wouldn't be so interested in her. Two maids work at a small hotel. One day, the hotel owner finds out one of them regularly steals stuff from guests. Look at these maids cleaning the rooms. Can you help the owner understand who's guilty? The maid on the right hasn't noticed the ring under the sofa. She might not be a great cleaner, but she's not a thief. As for the maid on the left, she spotted the ring and put it in her bucket. She'll take it for herself after finishing cleaning. She's the culprit. Ralph, Amber, and Grace are in a museum room. Someone stole a priceless exhibit from this room several hours ago. Ralph and Amber claim they have nothing to do with the crime. But the detective doesn't believe them. They get arrested and taken to the police station. Only Grace, who hasn't answered any questions, is free to go. Why? Grace is the detective. Look at these guys attentively. One of them lied when he said he hadn't painted the yellow smiley face on the fence. Which one is it? It's the guy on the left. Check out his left hand. Even though it's in his pocket, you can still spot some yellow paint he had used. Detective Hall, one of the agency's most talented detectives, used his coded key and entered the apartment where the secret documents were hidden. To help him find them, his assistant had left an encrypted note with the exact location of the documents. It looked like this. Detective Hall deciphered the message and found the documents. Where were they hidden? The note says, "Under the carpet in the studio." The detective just read it backwards and ignored the spaces between the words. Look at these two guys. They're wearing similar clothes, holding coffee cups, and, in general, seem to be perfectly normal. But one of them is a werewolf in disguise. Which one is it? Look at the guy on the right. There are strange marks on the rim of his cup. Were they left by his fangs? Also, his pupils are a bit elongated. And there is a paw print design on the plastic bag he's holding. Is it a special store for werewolves? Carl and his wife Olivia had dinner. They ate the same dishes: French fries, some fish, and vegetable salad. Soon, Carl felt unwell and called the ambulance. The man was immediately taken to a hospital, and the doctors had enough time to save him. It turned out the man had been poisoned. But he and his wife ate the same dishes, and Olivia was fine. The police arrested the woman for trying to poison her husband. How come? Olivia made all the dishes not salty enough and put poison in the salt shaker. You are in a place called Bobby's World, and there's only one law there. There is a mirror, but no reflection. There is pizza with cheese, but not with ham. There is pepper, but no salt. There is a door, yet no entrance or exit. What is the law in this strange world? Everything in Bobby's world must contain double letters in its name. A man walked into a room and saw 3 doors. The first one had a sign which read, "To the Swamps." On the second door, there was a note, "Lion's Den." The third door didn't have any sign, but the man knew for sure where it led. How? It was the door he had entered through. 3 famous detectives came to a coffee shop to discuss a tricky case. A waiter asked, "Does everyone want coffee?" The first detective said, "I don't know." The second detective answered, "I don't know." And the third detective said, "Yes." Why did he say so? Each of the detectives wanted to have coffee, but the first 2 couldn't know if it would be everyone's choice. When the third detective heard the replies of his colleagues, he figured out both of them wanted coffee, and since he also wanted a cup, he said yes. Inventor Mr. Bernard lived on the 6th floor. After months of work, he finally created a time machine. He packed all the stuff he might need and was ready to test his invention. He set the timer so that the machine took him 500 years back into the past. Then he realized something and moved the machine to his garage on the 1st floor. Why? The inventor didn't want to get hurt. 5 centuries ago, there were no high buildings. He'd fall to the ground from the height of the 6th floor. Schmarty pants. Leonore is a nurse, and it's her first day at this hospital. As she walks up to the entrance, she hears a coworker say "donut," and the woman at the front desk lets her in. Then another nurse says "candy," and she gets let in too. Leonore realizes it must be some kind of a code. So what should she say? The rule is simple. Say a 5-letter word. So the answer is water or booger. Oops, that's 6 words. Never mind. Anyways, you must be the new nurse, the woman says. Then she tells Leonore to go find her boss and describes him as a doctor who wears braces. Leonore walks into a room and sees 3 guys, but there's a problem. They're all wearing masks. So how can she tell which one is her boss? Well, let's see. This one looks too young to be a doctor. He's probably a patient. And this one is wearing the same kind of uniform as Leonore, which means he's a nurse. So the only one who could be the doctor is the third guy. Before the doctor can even say hi to Leonore, he suddenly takes off running towards a patient. Why? Can you tell what happened? Look at the monitor. His heart rate just dropped and now it's flat. That means this patient is in trouble. "I don't understand," the doctor says. He thinks someone poisoned the patient. The man was extremely wealthy, so the motive is obvious – money. 3 family members were nearby – his niece, his daughter, and his sister. So who did it? The niece and the sister don't look well off, but that doesn't really matter because they wouldn't inherit anything. The only one who would actually benefit from his inheritance is the daughter. So she's the culprit. Leonore has a sharp eye, so she scans the room and notices 3 suspicious items: a water bottle, a cup of tea, and an apple. We know one of these items was poisoned. So which one is it? The apple is still whole, which means the patient never ate it. The water turns out to be sparkling water, and that explains the bubbles. So the only thing left is the tea. After solving the mystery, Leonore's boss says, "Hey, can you head over to the emergency room? We really need you there." Leonore rushes out, but there's a problem. The hospital is huge with doors everywhere. So which one leads to the emergency room? The numbers and symbols don't matter. It's simpler than that. Ambulances usually park near the emergency room, so the correct door is the one closest to them. In the ER triage area, patients get one of 3 wristbands: red for emergencies, yellow for serious cases, and green for people who can wait. 3 teens walk in. One has a seafood allergy and just ate shrimp. One was bitten by a dog, and one says she broke her leg. So, who gets which? The shrimp allergy is the most urgent, since it can affect breathing, so he gets red. The dog bite needs care but can wait a bit, so that's yellow. And the last one gets green. If her leg were really broken, she wouldn't be standing there. Now, 2 patients insist they have high fevers, but Leonore notices something. One of them is trying to fake it to get treated first. So, who is lying? This girl is shivering like she feels cold, which can happen with a real fever. But this guy only has sweat on his forehead. The rest of his skin is totally dry. He probably splashed water on his face to fake it. So he's the one lying. An eye doctor calls Leonore into his office. He wants to test her vision to see if she's really fit to work at the hospital. He shows her an image and asks, "What number do you see?" The answer is 351. Next image. How many numbers are hidden here? Can you help Leonore? There are 5 numbers. Last visual challenge. Can you spot what's wrong with this image? Look closely. There's a hidden letter O right here. Leonore gets called to check on 3 inmates who say they're feeling bad. When she steps into the cell, she turns around to lock the door, and suddenly someone snaps handcuffs on her wrists. She didn't even see who did it. Now 3 inmates are sitting there, and one of them did it because he's planning to escape. So who is it? It's this guy. The prongs on his fork are bent, which means he's been trying to mess with the cell lock before. Leonore heads back to the hospital and checks on a patient with his mouth covered. She looks at his chart to see his name and finds this weird code. It looks like they use it to hide the identities of VIP patients. Can you figure out who it is? The red X means we remove the red letters, and the blue arrow pointing left means we need to read it backward. So, the patient is the CEO. Hey, no pressure, Leonore. Leonore has to bring an X-ray to a patient. But the second she sees her, she realizes something's wrong. What is it? The patient is clearly coughing. So the X-ray should be of her lungs, not her head. It's obviously a mix-up. two families are thrilled because their relatives are doing better. Now they head to the checkout desk to pay the hospital bill. Both families look rich, but only one of them can actually afford it. So which one is the real wealthy family? Well, look at the dads. This one is holding a car key, but the other one is wearing a bike helmet, which suggests they don't even have a car. So this family is probably the one struggling. The hospital chef asked Leonore to deliver a meal to a patient's room. It's for a pregnant woman who's here for a checkup. The chef sets down 3 trays. So which one should Leonore bring? Pregnant women should avoid raw fish and too much caffeine. So the safest choice is tray number 3. Suddenly, the hospital alarms go off. It's an emergency. Leonore jumps into the ambulance and they have to reach the patient's house as fast as possible. Look at these 2 routes. Route number 1 is stuck in heavy traffic. Route number 2 has a bunch of traffic lights. Which way should they go? Route number 2 might seem better, since an ambulance can go through red lights. But look closer. There's broken glass on the road. That could blow a tire. So the safest choice is route number 1 and hope the cars move out of the way. They finally make it to the patient's street, but they don't have the house number. The person who called 911 was panicking and only managed to say, "Hurry, it's the house with the dog." But Leonore doesn't see any dog. So which house is it? House number 2. Look closely. It has a little pet door at the bottom. That's the giveaway. At the end of the day, Leonore's co-workers invite her out to dinner to celebrate her first day on the job. While they're there, they give her a tip. Their boss loves hospital riddles. So when Leonore gets to the restaurant, he tells her he has 3 riddles for her, and if she gets them all right, she will get a raise. First riddle. Why did the doctor bring a pencil to the hospital? Leonore laughs. Easy, to draw blood. So the next question is, why did the thermometer break up with the hospital? Leonore thought for a moment, then answered, because it was under too much pressure. They all laughed, but the last riddle is the toughest one. The good news is, if Leonore gets this right, that raise is guaranteed. Ready to help her out? All right, here it comes. What do you call a doctor who fixes websites? You call him a urologist. URL, get it? Well, with that, Leonore can finally head home, tired but happy, because she really did earn that raise. And hey, thanks for helping her along the way.